worked all through the night, and we've restored this.
Minister of Works David Umahi optimistic at reopening of Independence Bridge. New Group Chief Executive Officer Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, officially takes over. Federal High Court adjourns suit filed by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan against Senate to May 12, 2025. Hello and thanks for joining us on the news at 11 on NTA News 24. We're reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Zenret Dingmon. Now, the part of the Independence Bridge, Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, where palliative works are ongoing and scheduled to be completed on Monday, has been reopened 3 days before target date. Now, here's the Minister of Works, David Umahi, to talk more on this development.
Through the night, and we've restored this. If you ask me how did it happen, I will say it's by God's wisdom and grace. You know, how it happened is all God's. But the integrity of the bridge, the integrity of the road we have repaired is 100%. So what we are doing later is for long-term effect. But there is no problem about this repair. So we are going to be doing a more permanent work after 3 weeks, because we don't know the integrity of the piles carrying the abutment, so that we relieve the abutment of any load at all. But the load will rather be a pin load, which we are going to introduce, which will help the piles, so we continue to press it down.
President Bola Tinubu has appointed Mr. Ayo Shotiri as the new Managing Director of the Bank of Agriculture, effective immediately. Mr. Shotiri brings a diverse and extensive background in the private and public sectors to his new role. Before this appointment, he was the Group Chief Executive Officer at SAO Group. His leadership at SAO Agro, an agri-business company, was marked by groundbreaking agricultural initiatives, including developing a 20,000-hectare oil palm plantation and large-scale poultry, aquaculture, maize, and cassava operations in Ondo State. He also led SAO Capital, raising over $750 million in infrastructure and development finance, including the landmark $200 million Akure Water Supply Project. In the public sector, he served as Special Advisor, Environment and Urban Development to the Minister of State, FCT, from 2011 to 2015. Mr. Shotiri's appointment aligns with the Tinubu administration's strategy to revitalize Nigeria's agricultural sector. Similarly, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Nasir Naim Abdul Salam as the Managing Director at Ajaokuta Steel Company. The appointment takes effect from 3rd April 2025 and is in accordance with the provisions of the Certain Political and Judicial Office Holders Salaries and Allowances Act 2008 as amended. Until his appointment, Nasir served as the technical advisor to the Minister of Steel Development, as well as the Special Assistant Academics to the Director General of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILS. President Tinubu tasks the appointee to leverage his wealth of experience in the steel industry in his new assignment in revitalizing the company to generate important upstream and downstream industrial and economic activities that will position the nation as the industrial hub of Africa in line with the diversification drive of the Renewed Hope agenda. The new Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, has officially taken over leadership from his predecessor, Mili Kyari. Lydia Samson reports.
It was a brief but symbolic change of baton, ushering in a new era with Bayo Ojulari and his management team at the helms of affairs, marking the end of the Mele Kyari era. At the handover ceremony held at the NNPC Towers, GCO Ojulari commended the immediate past GCO Mele Kyari for his contributions to the growth of NNPC Limited and his sterling service to the nation. He says his management will consolidate on the successes of his predecessor and take the company to the next level.
It's also good to say that there are a lot of improvements that we have seen over the years, a lot of clarity, a lot of improved relationships, and also some of the external things that you have done. My purpose is to consolidate the successes that NNPC has achieved.
Bayo Ojulari noted that though the target set for his management by the federal government is quite enormous, he will be relying on the cooperation of the management and staff of the company, as well as the counsel of his predecessor, to achieve set targets. Mele Kyari congratulated Bayo Ojulari and thanked the management and staff of the company for their support while in office.
And I know you will succeed. You will do great things. I'm sure that you will take NNPC to the promised land, which is to be the global energy company of choice. And this is the ambition of this company, and I know it is realizable, it's realistic, and I know that you're capable of taking it to that position. You are inheriting a company that has extremely skilled workers of all class and an envy of most people in the industry today. And I'm sure that they will rally around you for you to succeed, including the senior management team members who are with us at this meeting.
He pledged to do everything within his power to support the new management to succeed, stressing that he was only a call away. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Now, following the appointment of the Group Chief Executive Officer and Board of Directors, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has announced the appointment of a new 8-man senior management team. A statement by Olufemi Shonoye, Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPC Limited, says the team headed by the GCEO, Bashir Bayo Ojulari, has Roland Ewubare as Group Chief Operating Officer, Adedapo Shegun as Group Chief Financial Officer, and Olalekan Ogunleye as Executive Vice President, Gas, Power and New Energy. Other members of the team are Udi Intia as Executive Vice President Upstream, Mumuni Dangazo, Executive Vice President Downstream, Sophia Ngbakwe, Executive Vice President Business Services, and Adeswa Dozie as Company Secretary and Chief Legal Officer. All appointments are with immediate effect. Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has adjourned the suit filed by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan against the Senate to May 12, 2025 for further hearing. The presiding judge, Justice Binta Nyako, gave the order at the commencement of hearing of the matter in Abuja. Judiciary correspondent Daily Atumbi reports.
Parties in this matter are Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan as plaintiff, Clerk of the National Assembly, the Senate, President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Chairman, Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Code of Conduct are all respondents. The substantive matter before the court is the suspension of Senator Natasha by the Senate. At the resumed hearing of the matter afresh due to the recusal of the trial judge, the new trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, restrained all parties from granting media interviews during the pendency of the case. Justice Binta Nyako issued the order following the complaint by the counsel to the third respondent in the matter that the plaintiff was granting media interviews on the matters that are sub judice. The court equally barred all counsel in the matter from granting media interviews on issues relating to the case currently pending before the court. Before the recusal of the first trial judge on alleged bias, the Senate President has instituted an interlocutory appeal challenging the jurisdiction of the trial court before the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal has adjourned the matter to the 7th of April 2025 for further hearing. Justice Binta Nyako is the second judicial officer to adjudicate over the matter, and the matter is starting afresh. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Office of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has condemned what it termed false and inflammatory accusations of assassination plot made by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan against the President of the Senate. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Eseme Eibo, said the suspended Senator Natasha this week claimed that Senator Akpabio has recruited former Governor Yaya Bello to assassinate her in Kogi. The statement sees the accusation as outrageous, false, and a complete fabrication of, as well as a dangerous attempt to provoke public interest and media attention. The statement describes this recent falsehood as a pattern deployed to manipulate and exploit public sensitivities through recurring victimhood narratives. Senator Akpabio, however, remains undeterred in his devotion to national unity, institutional integrity, and the rule of law, as the timing, tone, and similarity of attacks directed at him point clearly to a politically motivated smear campaign. We'll take a break now. There'll be more reports right after.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, the Supreme Court has set aside the verdict of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which affirmed Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party. In a unanimous decision, the 5-member panel of justices of the Apex Court ruled that the Court of Appeal lacked the jurisdiction to affirm Abure's position as LP's national chairman. The court held that the substance of the case centered on party leadership, which falls under internal party affairs, a matter over which courts lack jurisdiction. The Supreme Court effectively nullified the court's of Appeal's earlier decision, reinforcing its stance that leadership disputes within political parties should be resolved internally rather than through judicial intervention. Meanwhile, the National Working Committee of the Labour Party says Julius Abure remains its national chairman and that the Supreme Court judgment is clear in directing the party to resolve its issues through internal mechanisms. A statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Obiora Ifo, says the Supreme Court categorically cautioned lower courts from interfering in internal issues of political parties as they lack jurisdiction to do so. He called on the media to stop giving wrong interpretations to the court's judgment as there was no declaration by the Supreme Court sacking Julius Abure from office. Now, the urgent need to continuously support growth opportunities for women and the girl child across Africa is the thrust of African Women's Summit in Abuja. Thomas Ogbetere reports that over 200 women and girls were empowered at the event.
The African Women's Summit brought together women and girls from diverse backgrounds and industries to discuss pressing issues, share experiences, and empower one another. The engagement is to also advocate for policies that support gender equality.
And anyhow we see fit to empower the woman and the girl child, we do that. Like today we'll be launching the mentorship program for 200 young girls where they'll be mentored for 1 year by 20 women.
So we really want to come and open their eyes for them to understand that they can do so much. That being a woman or being a girl is not supposed to limit you.
And we will join hands together with them to make sure that Nigerian girls are empowered. Women in Nigeria are empowered. Nigerian girls are educated.
So with this summit, at the end of the day, every girl child here or out there will know that they have a lot of potentials and they don't need to be victimized or intimidated.
Speakers encouraged Nigerian women to challenge stereotypes, speak up, prioritize their health, and strive to become entrepreneurs with the mindset that there is no limit to self-development.
So they are going to be financially independent and, of course, gain confidence and be able to also contribute to the economic development of this nation.
I believe this event is a great opportunity for us women to change the world.
African women are very smart, very intelligent, and have a lot of potential.
The mega summit themed Africa Rising, harnessing the potentials of women and the girl child for sustainable development, was also aimed at protecting the rights of women and creating a fair and just society where every girl child has the opportunity to attain full potentials. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Our 23-member council of the Chartered Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering of Nigeria, CIEN, has been inaugurated with a charge on the members to fight quackery and ensure professionalism in the engineering profession. Chinyenye Nwoye reports that the 23 council members drawn from 13 bodies have a 2-year tenure.
These electrical and electronic engineers say they have had to condone and endure with the pains of substandard delivery provided by incompetent and fake technical hands cutting across the engineering cadre.
It is faithfully.
This inauguration and oath taken by these council members, in addition to those who joined the meeting virtually, is a call to action to use the force of law and professionalism to fight quackery in the engineering profession. President of the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers said the members are drawn from 13 bodies and entities, including COREN, SON, MBTE, NITIDA, NCC, NEMSA, etc.
We have tolerated quackery and the economic as well as social and health implications. Everyone knew that the solution lied in strict professionalism.
Usman Momo, who is also a council member, speaks on the challenges of system regulation.
We are vast. you have power, you have communication, you have instrumentation, you have avionics, so it's vast. So, and we've all come together to say, yes, we want to take electrical engineering back and bring back the standard, the regulation, the professionalism that it has always been.
A website and a logo has been designed for the Chartered Institute for Electrical and Electronic Engineering. To hit the ground running, some recommendations have been made to the Council, and they include the need to map out a master plan for office setup, membership registration, and creation of organs of the Chartered Institute that will implement their policies. In Abuja, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
And the MD Abubakar Blue Room once again came alive, this time around without the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, but a significant moment as Air Vice Marshal Olushola Akimboyiwa, the outgoing Director of Public Relations and Information, handed over his duties to Air Commodore Ehime Ejodame as his successor. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
After years of dedicated service, Air Vice Marshal Olushola Akimboyiwa is appointed Director of Civil Military Relations at the Defense Headquarters, a role that acknowledged his outstanding leadership and dedication. Air Vice Marshal Akimboyiwa said serving as the Director of Public Relations and Information has been an incredible journey of fostering transparency, built bridges of understanding and strengthened the bond between the military and the public in line with the Chief of the Air Staff Command philosophy.
I'm humbled by that level of support, and I want to encourage you to please extend that same support and cooperation to my brother as he takes over this very challenging office.
Taking the symbolic handover document from the table, a sleek leather-bound folder embossed with the NAF's emblem, AVM Akimboyiwa presented it to Air Commodore Ejodame, exchanging a firm handshake, a gesture of respect and continuity.
I wish to express my profound gratitude to the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, distinguished flying staff, for the trust reposed on me to undertake this very big task, of which I pray and pledge to give nothing short of my very best.
With a final nod to his successor, he walked out of the room, ready to embrace the next chapter of his distinguished career. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the passing of Bauchi-based Islamic cleric Dr. Idris Abdulaziz Dutsen Tanshi, who passed away in the early hours of Friday. He was 68 years old. President Tinubu said the cleric contributed to molding millions of youths and other Muslim faithful on the tenets of Islam. The president extolled Dr. Abdulaziz's efforts in countering the spread of violent extremism, especially in the early days of the Boko Haram conflict. He said the Muslim faithful would greatly miss the cleric's trenchant voice, calling for moral rectitude and probity. While praying for the repose of Dr. Abdulaziz's soul, President Tinubu urges his family and followers to find solace in his good works. President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the passing of Senator Solomon Ayodeji Otegbola, the Ashiwaju of Awori land and one of Nigeria's most distinguished elder statesmen. In a condolence message to the Otegbola family and the people of Awori land, the president described the late senator as a man of immense dignity, principle and dedication to the service of his people and country. Senator Otegbola, he says, was a devoted public servant, a respected legislator, and a patriarch who spanned generations. His commitment to developing Awori land and Nigeria remains deeply appreciated and widely acknowledged. Reflecting on his connection to the family, President Tinubu fondly recalled his role as chairman at the wedding of Senator Otegbola's son, Wale, over 2 decades ago, a testament to the bond of friendship between both families. Nigeria has lost a patriot. The Awori nation has lost a guiding light, and I have lost a noble elder whose life embodied sacrifice, wisdom, and service, the president stated. President Tinubu extended heartfelt condolences to the Otegbola family, the Awori traditional institutions, and all those mourning this irreparable loss. He prays that the Almighty would grant Senator Otegbola eternal rest and comfort his loved ones. Senator Otegbola died on 17th February at 91. His burial rites will begin on April 23rd and interment on April 24th. And that concludes the news at 11 on NTA News 24. Thanks for sharing your time with us. I'm Zenret Dingmun.